The sky took him. Mid-Wardelli stood on the wooden platform, facing a small crowd in the colony town of Neora 7. The sun was warm on his face. Birds flew lazily above the silver rooftops. Behind him, a torn flag of earth waved gently in the wind. He took a breath and smiled at the people in front of him. "We came to this planet with nothing," Eli began, his voice clear and full of hope. "But we built something here. His words were cut short. A sudden gust of wind slammed into the square. Dust exploded into the air. People screamed as tables flipped and signs snapped. Eli looked up and froze. A massive shadow passed over him. Before he could blink, talons wrapped around his shoulders. His feet left the ground. The world spun. The sky swallowed everything. "What?" he gasped, but the wind tore the word from his mouth. The crowd below shouted his name. Someone fired a warning shot, but the winged creature had already soared beyond reach, carrying Eli higher and higher. He looked up. The creature wasn't just a beast. It was a woman. A tall, powerful alien with wings like a bat, legs like a panther, and golden eyes that burned with wildfire. Her dark skin shimmered with violet lines that moved like liquid. Her long hair flew behind her like a flame. She didn't speak at first. Just flew. Eli struggled, kicking his legs. "Put me down. Who are you? What do you want?" The alien woman looked at him calmly. Her arms, strong and warm, held him tightly, but not cruelly. Her wings beat the air with force that made his ears ring. After a long moment, she finally spoke. "You are mine." Her voice was deep, strange, but the words were clear. Eli blinked. What does that mean?" But she said nothing more. They passed over glowing trees, giant floating stones, and strange flocks of flying beasts. The sky changed color, from blue to purple, then pink, then silver. Clouds curled like smoke beneath them. Eli had never seen this part of the planet before. After a long flight, she descended onto a high stone spire that hovered above the clouds. Her home. There were carvings in the stone, shapes of birds, beasts, and moons. A fire burned in a nest of stones. Wind chimes made of crystal bones hung from tall poles. She set him down gently. Eli stumbled back. "You kidnapped me. Why? What do you want from me?" She stepped closer. "I am Vale Raka," she said. "Sky hunter of the high clouds. You spoke strong words. I listened." He stared. "You were watching me?" "Yes," she said simply. "You spoke like a leader, like a male who knows no fear. We do not have such males here." Eli looked around. There was no way down, no bridge, no signal, just the sound of the wind and the beating of her wings. "I'm not your kind," he said slowly. "I'm human, and I'm not whatever you think I am." She tilted her head. "You will be." Eli backed away, but Velraka lifted one clawed hand and pressed it gently to his arm. A glowing line appeared, curling around his skin. It pulsed once, twice, then faded into a faint symbol. He gasped. "What? What did you do to me?" She looked at the mark with pride. "Our bond. Now the sky knows you. Now you are claimed." His head spun. His heart pounded. "Claimed?" he whispered. "What does that mean?" "You will learn. In time. You will feel it." Suddenly, warmth rushed through his body. Not painful, but strange. Like fire and ice together. His knees weakened. He fell to the stone floor, eyes wide with shock. "What are you doing to me?" he mumbled. Viola Raka knelt beside him. Her voice was soft now. "You fell from the sky, but the sky caught you. And now, the sky will change you." Eli's vision blurred. The last thing he saw was her glowing eyes and the mark on his arm pulsing like a heartbeat. Then, darkness. The bond beneath the clouds. When Eli woke, he was not lying on stone anymore. He was in a round nest-like bed made of soft feathers and smooth alien furs. The air smelled of wildflowers and something sharp, like the ozone before lightning. Outside the open archway, the wind howled through clouds that rolled like an ocean below the floating spire. His body felt warm. Too warm. He looked down. The strange glowing mark on his arm was still there. But now it pulsed softly with his heartbeat, glowing in rhythm like a second pulse under his skin. "You are awake." Eli turned quickly. Vailraka stood nearby, her wings folded behind her back, her golden eyes calm but alert. She held a bowl in her hands made of carved stone. Steam rose from it. "Where am I?" Eli asked, his voice dry. "Safe," she said simply. "The wind spirits watch over this place. It floats far above danger." He sat up slowly. "You took me from my people. I don't call that safe." Vailraka walked closer and knelt beside him. She offered the bowl. "Drink." Eli hesitated. "If I wished to harm you," she said, "I would not have caught you in the sky." After a long pause, he drank. The liquid was sweet, thick, and slightly bitter. It made his throat tingle. "What did you do to me?" he asked. Vailraka touched the mark on his arm. "I gave you my claim. My tribe calls it the soul bind. Only warriors may use it. I chose you." "Why?" "You spoke with fire. You moved hearts. Your kind hides in metal homes and fears the sky. But you did not." Eli looked away. "That doesn't mean I belong here. I'm not part of your tribe. I didn't agree to any of this." "Not yet," she said calmly, "but you will." Suddenly, the tower shook. A deep roar echoed from the clouds below. Eli stood, alarmed. "What was that?" Vailraka turned toward the open air. "Sky beasts. One followed us. It seeks the scent of your blood." "My blood?" She nodded. "Human blood is rare here. It calls to many creatures, and not all of them are kind." Before Eli could respond, a huge shadow moved outside. A monstrous winged beast, larger than a dropship, circled below the spire. It had 6 eyes, a long tail, and teeth like swords. Its wings beat the clouds into stormy spirals. "How do we stop it?" Eli asked. "We don't," Vailraka said. "I do." Without another word, she sprinted forward and leapt off the edge of the tower. Eli rushed to the ledge and looked down in shock. She dove straight at the beast like a missile, her wings folded behind her. Halfway down, she opened them wide and twisted through the air, slamming into the monster's side. They fought in the clouds, claws, wings, roars, and flashes of light. Eli watched helplessly, his heart racing. The beast struck her and she spun. But she came back stronger, driving a blade from her backstrap into its wing. The creature screeched in pain and fell into the fog. Vailraka flew back, her chest rising and falling. Blood ran from a cut on her arm. Eli reached out to help her as she landed. "You're hurt." She brushed it off. "It is nothing. But now you see. The sky is not safe for your kind." He stared at her. She had risked her life for him, fought a beast that could tear metal apart. And she hadn't hesitated. "Why would you fight for me?" he asked. Vailraka looked him in the eyes. "Because the bond is not a prison. It is protection. My skies are dangerous, but they are mine. And now, you are mine too." He didn't speak. The wind howled around them again, but something inside him shifted. For the first time, he wondered if he had been taken, or chosen. As night fell, glowing birds circled the spire. Vailraka lit a fire and prepared a simple meal. She told him stories of sky duels, falling stars, and ancient wars fought on floating islands. She spoke of her people's fading power, their lost mates, and why she had waited so long to bond. "I chose no warrior before you," she said. "I chose no male. I was born for the wind. But the wind brought you." Eli listened quietly. The firelight reflected in his eyes. The mark on his arm glowed brighter. And though he still didn't understand everything, one thing was clear. He was no longer just a human on a distant planet. He was now part of something ancient, wild, and alive. The storm marked him. The clouds were dark the next morning. Eli stood near the edge of the floating spire, staring into the endless mist below. Wind tugged at his clothes. The symbol on his arm still glowed softly, but now there was something else. A strange hum in his chest, like the air itself was whispering to him. Behind him, Vailraka crouched near a stone circle, sharpening her curved blade with quiet focus. She hadn't said much since the sky beast attack. Her golden eyes watched the clouds carefully as if expecting more trouble. "What happens now?" Eli finally asked. She didn't look at him. "The mark has taken root." "What does that mean?" "You will change. Your body will feel the sky. Your bones will lighten. Your ears will hear winds that others can't. And your dreams," she paused, "your dreams will no longer be yours alone." Eli turned slowly. "What dreams?" Vailraka stood. "You'll see soon." That night the dreams came. They weren't his memories. Not fully. He saw wars in the sky, warriors with wings and fire in their hands. He saw a great temple floating in a violet storm, its gates sealed with silver light. And he saw Vailraka, as a child watching her home burn under dark wings. Then, he saw himself, with wings. Standing beside her, he woke in a sweat. Outside, the spire trembled. He rushed to the ledge. A storm was coming. But it wasn't natural. Black clouds twisted like claws across the sky. Flashes of red lightning lit up giant shadows moving inside the mist. Creatures, big ones, flying in formation. Eli's breath caught in his throat. Vailraka joined him, her face hard. "Storm callers? What are those?" "Sky lords, old enemies. They ruled this world long before humans came. They think all bond marks belong to them." She touched Eli's arm. "And now, they think you belong to them. Why? I didn't choose this." "No, but I did, and my choice is a challenge to their law." She handed him a blade. Light metal, curved like a wing, made for speed, not strength. "I've never fought anyone," Eli said, swallowing. "Then you learn fast," Vailraka said. "Because if they reach this spire, they will rip the bond from you, and they will not do it gently." Screams echoed from the sky. Creatures with bone masks and blood-red wings flew down from the clouds. Storm callers. Some were riders, others were beasts. They circled the tower, their eyes glowing. Eli's heart pounded. "What do we do?" Vailraka opened her wings. "We show them the sky is not theirs." With a roar, she launched into the air. Eli hesitated only a moment. Then he followed. He couldn't fly, but the spire had narrow ledges, paths that spiraled around its surface. He climbed, heart racing, ducking claws and dodging blasts of energy from the flying attackers. Above, Vailraka moved like lightning. Blade in one hand, fire in the other. Her wings caught the wind and spun her through battle like a goddess of the storm. But there were too many. A stormcaller rider struck her shoulder. She screamed and dropped from the sky. "Vael!" Eli shouted. She crashed onto a lower ledge, wings broken. The stormcallers landed around her. Eli ran down, gripping the blade with shaking hands. "Run, Eli," she whispered. "Go. Save yourself." But he didn't run. Something in the bond lit up, like fire in his blood. His mark burned. His chest throbbed. And suddenly, he didn't feel small anymore. He stepped between her and the enemies. One of the stormcallers laughed. "You are not skyborn human. Give up her bond. It does not belong to you." Eli raised the blade. "I didn't ask for this," he said. "But now I have it, and I won't let you take it." They charged. He moved, fast, faster than he ever had. He ducked the first swing, rolled and cut through the second attacker's wing. Vailraka, bleeding but alive, pulled herself up and fought beside him. Together they pushed back. The bond had awakened something in Eli. He could feel Vail's thoughts, her pain, her strength, her rage. And he drew from it. With one final strike, they drove the last stormcaller off the spire. The clouds cleared slowly. Eli dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Velraka crawled beside him and touched his cheek. "You did not run," she said. "Neither did you," he whispered. The bond between them pulsed brighter than ever. Then the wind shifted. From the far sky, something even darker was coming. Not storm callers, something worse. Velraka's eyes widened. "They've sent the High Judge," she said. "What's that?" She stood slowly, wings trembling. "The keeper of the ancient bond laws. If he arrives, we may not survive." Eli looked into the sky and saw the shape approaching, a massive winged figure wrapped in lightning and flame. He tightened his grip on the blade. Whatever was coming, he would face it with her. The High Judge descends. The sky was no longer just dark. It was torn. Eli stared upward as a crack opened in the clouds. Not natural, not made by weather. It was like reality itself had been sliced by a blade. From that wound in the sky, a figure dropped, slow, steady, and silent. The wind stopped. Even the storm callers who had survived now fled into the distance. Velraka stood beside Eli, her body bloodied but unbowed. Her wings hung heavy behind her. Her voice came out low like a growl. "He has come." Eli swallowed. "Who is he?" "The High Judge of the Sky Clans," she whispered. "He is not just a warrior. He is the keeper of bond laws, the one who decides who may love, who may bind, and who must die for breaking the rules." The figure drifted downward, arms folded, wings made not of skin, but of pure light and storm. His armor was silver, etched with ancient sky runes. His face was hidden beneath a mask shaped like a bird of prey. When he landed on the spire, the stone itself bent slightly beneath him. He didn't speak at first. He looked at them both, the beast woman and the human. Then, in a voice like thunder and wind combined, he said, "This bond is forbidden." Eli took a step forward. "Why?" The judge turned his mask toward him. "Because the bond is sacred. It belongs to the Skyborn. You are dirt-bound, your blood is unworthy." Eli felt the old fear rise in him, but it didn't take hold. Not this time. "I didn't ask for the bond," he said. "But she gave it, and I accepted it. Is that not how your laws work?" The judge's voice cracked across the sky. "Your kind was not made to carry the wind. Your soul cannot survive the storm of the bond. You will burn from within." Eli showed the glowing mark on his arm. "Then why haven't I burned yet?" Silence. The judge took a step closer. "You challenge me with your words, human, but words do not decide law." He pointed a glowing spear toward Velraka. She broke the ancient oath. For that, she must fall. "No!" Eli shouted, but Velraka raised her hand. "It is the law, Eli. They will not stop, not unless someone stands against it." "Then, we fight," Eli said. "No," she whispered. "You are still changing. You are not ready." The judge struck the ground with his spear. The spire cracked. "You will face sky trial," he declared. "What is that?" Eli asked, breath catching. "One flight, one test, one truth," Velraka replied. "You must fly through the storm maze, where the air tears wings from bodies and the lightning judges every breath. But I can't fly." The judge raised his hand. A wind began to swirl around Eli, lifting his feet slightly from the ground. "The bond will either lift you," the judge said, "or destroy you." Eli looked at Velraka. Her eyes, always fierce, now shimmered with fear but also pride. "You don't have to do this," she whispered. "Yes, I do," he said. The judge turned and walked to the edge of the spire. "Follow or surrender." Eli's heart beat so hard he thought it would break his chest, but he stepped forward. The wind thickened around him. Velraka reached out and touched his chest. "Take my strength," she said. "Our bond is more than blood. It is choice." The moment her hand left him, the wind exploded, and he was launched into the sky. The world spun. Clouds became walls. Lightning twisted around him. The storm maze was alive, made by ancient forces to test the heart and soul of any who dared the bond. He saw illusions, his home, his past, even his own death. He flew without wings. Not by muscle, but by will. The bond guided him. Valraka's voice echoed in his mind, not words, but feelings. Love, pride, hope. Lightning struck. Pain surged through him, but he kept flying. Higher, deeper, faster. He didn't know how long. It lasted minutes or hours, but when he burst through the final ring of black cloud, light hit him like fire, and he didn't fall. He floated. Wings, not physical, but made of glowing force, spread behind him. He was no longer just a man, he was something more. He returned to the spire. The high judge waited, silent, unmoving. Eli landed softly, glowing, calm. The judge stared for a long time. Then he said quietly, "The bond has accepted you." Eli's knees nearly gave out. Valraka caught him. "What does that mean?" Eli asked. "It means," the judge said, "your soul did not break, your blood did not burn, and your heart did not turn away." He turned to Valraka. "Your challenge has passed. Your bond stands." But then, his voice darkened. "But your path is not yet safe, for now others will come. Those who do not care for rules or trials. They will want the bond's power, and they will kill for it." He opened his wings and rose into the sky. "Prepare yourselves." And then he was gone. The wind slowly returned to normal, but nothing else would ever be the same again. Eli sat beside Valraka on the edge of the spire as the stars began to rise. "I didn't just survive," he said softly. "I flew." She smiled, resting her head against his shoulder. "Yes," she whispered. "You did." Shadows without wings, the stars over the spire were brighter than ever. Eli sat near the edge, staring up at the night sky. His body still ached from the trial. His heart beat differently now, like it had been rewired. His limbs felt lighter, and though he had no wings, he could still feel the air around him, like it was part of him. Beside him, Valraka rested, silent. Her wounds were healing, but slowly. The stormcaller poison in her side had delayed her recovery. Her breath was steady, but her strength was not yet whole. They had survived the high judge. They had passed the trial, but neither of them felt safe. "You feel it too, don't you?" Eli said softly. Valraka opened her eyes. "Yes. Something watches. Something waits." The sky was quiet, too quiet. No birds, no wind. Even the clouds seemed still. "Not the stormcallers?" Eli asked. She shook her head. "No. They would come with noise. This is different, old, hidden." As she spoke, the bond between them pulsed. It was like a warning inside their skin. Danger. Close. Without a sound, a dark shape rose from the side of the spire. Eli turned in time to see it. A creature without wings, wrapped in black armor, floating, as if gravity had forgotten it. It had no eyes, no mouth, just a smooth helmet with a single red light in the center. Behind it came 3 more. They didn't fly. They hovered. "What are those?" Eli whispered. Valraka's face went pale. "Voidbound." "What?" "Skyfallers. Traitors of the ancient clans. They gave up their wings for forbidden power. They do not follow law. Not even the judge touches them." Eli stood, drawing, his blade. "What do they want?" "The bond," she said. "They steal bonds, rip them from the living, use them like fuel." The lead voidbound raised a metal hand. A voice echoed in their minds, not spoken, but pressed into their thoughts. "You pass the trial, but you hold power that does not belong to you. Surrender the bond or lose yourselves to the silence." Valraka stepped forward, though her body trembled. "This bond is ours. It was not stolen. It was earned. Earned or given, it is still fuel," the voidbound answered. "And we are hungry." They moved fast, faster than anything Eli had seen, but the bond warned him. His body moved without thought. He slashed, twisted, and blocked a glowing spike of energy just before it struck Veilraka. They fought side by side, but the void-bound didn't bleed. They didn't feel pain. Every strike Eli landed faded into sparks. Every blast Veilraka threw was swallowed into shadow. "We can't win like this," Eli shouted. "Then we don't fight them their way," Veilraka said. She reached into a pouch and pulled out a small stone wrapped in cloth. "What's that?" "A storm seed, a sky relic. It can open the bond completely for 1 minute." "What does that mean?" "It means," she said, "we become one. Fully." She pressed the stone into Eli's hand. It began to glow, and so did their bond mark. The void-bound paused, sensing the change. The air split. The sky cracked. Eli's vision blurred. And suddenly, he wasn't alone in his body. He could feel her wings on his back, her blood in his veins, her thoughts in his head, and she could feel his fear, his courage, his rage. They moved as one. When they opened their eyes, the void-bound had already launched forward. But this time, they were ready. The bond surged like lightning. Together they spun, dodged, struck, not as two fighters but as one. Blades moved faster. Energy flared brighter. Each strike hit harder, pierced deeper. And this time, the void-bound felt it. They screamed, soundless but full of pain. As the bond's fire burned through their armor, Eli and Veilraka pushed them to the edge of the spire. "Now," she shouted in his mind. Together they unleashed the bond's full energy, a storm blast that sent all four void-bound spinning into the clouds below. The silence returned. The bond faded to normal, and they both fell to their knees, gasping. "You okay?" Eli said, panting. "Yes," she said, smiling faintly. "You moved well." He laughed a little, breathless. "You too." They sat in silence for a moment. Then far below, the clouds lit up again. Not red, not gold, but purple. Veilraka's smile faded. They were just scouts. "You mean the Void Queen is awake?" Eli stared into the clouds. The bond pulsed again, not in warning, in fear. The queen beneath the clouds, the sky had gone quiet again, not peaceful, waiting. After the void-bound scouts fell, the spire stood still for hours. Eli and Veilraka didn't speak much. They didn't rest either. They simply sat near the fire, watching the clouds, waiting for what they both knew was coming. The Void Queen. Veilraka stared into the flames. Her golden eyes, usually so fierce, looked tired. "They haven't sent her in centuries. The last time 5 clans fell in one day." Eli said nothing. He didn't have words for that kind of power, but the bond between them pulsed softly. Even now it shared feelings without needing language. Fear, warmth, trust, and a shadow deeper than both. "Why does she want the bond?" Eli asked finally. "Because she lost hers long ago," Veilraka whispered. "And now she rips them from others. The more she takes, the more she grows. She is not alive as we are. She is a shell filled with broken love." Eli looked down at the glowing mark on his arm. "Then we protect ours." Veilraka turned to him, surprised. "You would stay even knowing what she is?" "I didn't come this far to let someone like her decide what we are," Eli said. The clouds below stirred. A sound came, not a roar, not a scream, but a song. Soft, slow, beautiful, and terrible. Eli's skin chilled. The spire itself shook. Under the weight of the sound, Veilraka stood quickly, wings twitching. "She sings before she rises. It's how she feeds, on doubt, on regret." Eli stood beside her. "I'm not afraid." "You will be," Veilraka said. "And so will I. But we must not let her hear it in us." The clouds parted, and she rose. The Void Queen did not fly. She floated, wrapped in a gown of shadows that moved like smoke in water. Her face was covered by a porcelain mask, smiling. Too calm. Too still. Her eyes were twin stars burning white through the mask. She wore no crown, yet the air bent to her presence. Behind her came others, former bondmates, taken and twisted, now empty shells with glowing marks stolen from others. She said nothing, but the bond inside Eli began to tremble. He gritted his teeth. She's pulling at it. Vialraka growled, stepping forward. No. We hold it. She cannot take what we protect. The queen finally spoke. You shine too brightly, she said in a voice that echoed through stone and air. And so you must be dimmed. Eli raised his blade. We're not giving it up. You already have, she replied. Before he could blink, she moved. She was not fast like the voidbound. She was already there, in his mind, in his thoughts, in his memories. He saw flashes of Earth, his old home, his worst moments, his fears. You don't belong, the queen whispered in his head. You never did. Not on Earth, not here, not with her. Eli's knees buckled, but then Vialraka screamed, not in pain, in rage. Her wings lit up with the full power of the bond. She leapt toward the queen, blades spinning, fire pouring from her hands, and she struck. The queen staggered. Not much, but enough. Eli's mind cleared. He rose. You're wrong, he said. I belong here. Not because I was born here, but because I chose to. He grabbed Vialraka's hand. Together they lifted the storm relic once more. The bond flared, brighter than ever before. The queen shrieked. Cracks appeared in the spire. The air turned to thunder. And suddenly, they weren't just fighting back, they were pushing her down. The queen's mask cracked. Underneath, nothing. Just a hollow face full of lost light and stolen love. Give it to me, she begged now, her voice breaking. I can't feel anymore. Eli stared into her emptiness. Then you shouldn't take what others still cherish. He thrust the relic forward, and with Vialraka beside him unleashed the full power of their bond. A pulse of energy shot across the sky. The queen was dragged back into the clouds, screaming silently as her broken servants followed her. The wind screamed. The spire shook, then silence. The clouds slowly closed. The stars returned. Eli fell to one knee, gasping. Vialraka dropped beside him. Neither spoke for a long time. Then Vialraka whispered, You faced her, and didn't lose yourself. Because I had you, Eli said. She smiled softly. And I had you. The bond glowed warm between them, not pulsing with fear but steady and strong. For now they had won, but far beyond the clouds. Something else stirred, not from this world, from the stars. Chosen by the sky, marked by the stars, the spire stood silent. The clouds had calmed. The stars above glittered like they were watching. For the first time in many nights, no shadows moved, no enemies approached. Eli and Vialraka sat by the fire, in quiet peace. Her wounds were nearly healed. The mark on his arm glowed like a second heartbeat. The bond between them was not just strong now, it was unbreakable. Do you think it's over? Eli asked softly. Vialraka looked up at the stars. No, she said. But something has changed. The wind felt heavier, not dangerous, just full of something unseen. Then a sound came, not from the sky, from beyond it. A deep, slow hum. Low at first, then rising, until the clouds above began to glow with strange light. Not blue, not gold, but silver white. Like the edge of time itself. Eli stood slowly. That's not the Void Queen. Vialraka stepped beside him. No, this is older. Far older. The wind shifted. A light descended, brighter than the moon, silent, soft, yet impossible to look away from. It wasn't a ship, it wasn't a creature, it was a presence, and it spoke, not in words, but in thought, in feeling. We have seen the bond. Eli staggered back. Who? What are you? We are the first watchers, before sky, before cloud, before law. We made the bond, and now we come to see what you have done with it. Velruca knelt, head bowed. They are the Sky Fathers, the architects. We thought they were myths. Eli's voice was quiet. Why now? Because the bond burned too bright, the voice replied. And your love echoed beyond this world. The light hovered. Shapes formed inside it, not humanoid, not alien. Just patterns of energy moving like stars trapped in water. One of you was not born to the sky. The other broke the old lines. Yet you bonded, fully, deeply, with no chains. The light pulsed. This has never happened before. Eli glanced at Velruca. Is that good or bad? The light spun slowly above them. It is dangerous, but also beautiful. A pause. Then it spoke again. A warning. What you have made will draw more than Void Queens, more than Skylaw. It will call to those who fear love, who fear change. Eli stepped forward. Then tell us what to do. Tell us how to stop them. You cannot stop what watches the stars, but you can prepare, and you can choose. A shape dropped from the light, a small crystal glowing like a seed. This is the first bond core, from the beginning. It is the root of all that connects. With it, you can grow new power, new wings, not just for you, but for others like you. Eli caught the crystal in his hand. Warmth flooded through him. Images filled his mind. Not of battle, but of others like him and Velruca. Humans and aliens, forming new bonds, fighting side by side, rebuilding the sky world together. But he also saw darkness. War fleets, coming from other systems drawn to the bond's energy. Machines, tyrants, empires. You must decide, the voice said. Hide the bond and survive. Or spread it and risk everything. The light began to rise. Eli looked at Velruca. She looked back. They didn't need to speak aloud. The bond spoke for them. They had already chosen. Eli stepped forward. We share it, he said. We build something new. Velruca nodded. We give them what we were never given. The freedom to choose love over fear. The light paused. Then may the stars stand with you. And just like that, the light vanished. The clouds returned. The spire was silent again, but nothing would ever be the same. Weeks passed. Word spread through the skies that a human had bonded with a sky hunter, that the ancient bond had awakened, and that a new kind of power, born not from conquest, but connection, was rising. Eli and Velruca became legends, not because they were stronger, but because they stayed true. Together they taught others to bond, to trust, to fly, not just with wings, but with belief. New spires were built, new alliances formed. But above all else, a new wind moved through the clouds. It didn't smell of war. It smelled of hope.